Today, we're going to talk about one of my personal favorite builders here in DFW in our Behind the Builder series. This builder, I think, gives a great quality at every price point. So you feel like even if you're a first-time home buyer, you're getting a really high quality product. They're one of the few builders that I know of that warranty their own product, which is a huge deal. Overall, I've heard nothing but good things about them. Let's talk about Highland Homes today. Here we go. Highland Homes is a Texas exclusive builder. Of course, they build in DFW, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. For my focus today, because I am a realtor in DFW, we're going to specifically focus on what's going on in DFW. So they were founded in 1985 by a brother and sister team, and they just kind of started building something different. They felt like consumers needed a better quality product, and so that's kind of what they provided. They started off and they sold 13 homes their first month. And then it exploded, grew quickly, and now they build on average probably 2,500 to 3,000 or more homes a year all across Texas. And they are a phenomenal builder. They're not publicly traded. They're employee owned, so all of their employees have an ownership stake in their company. They've been rated in the top 10 of Texas's 50 best companies to work for. So all of the sales counselors that I know that I've worked with at Highland Homes, their builders, everybody that I've talked to really enjoys working for their builder. And can I be honest? That's not the case for every builder. You'd be surprised how many times I hear like, oh my gosh, my company is terrible. I'm not going to go into names. We're not going to do that. But just know that it's not normal that you hear that for salespeople to be like, I love our builder. We're great. We love the experience. I would say personally, as I've interacted in many of their communities, talked to their salespeople, sold their homes, I think they're a service-oriented, service-first, customer-based builder. They really do their best to try and get everything the customer wants and be service-oriented. They try to lead with yes as many times as they can. Every time I've called and had an issue or had a problem, they dealt with it quickly. They didn't put it off or dismiss it. So I'm super appreciative of that as a realtor who's bringing clients in, and they're making these big financial decisions. So I appreciate that from Highland Home, because a lot of times you find with builders, clients get treated like just another number or just a whatever. I feel like all of my clients have gotten a very individualized personal experience being in Highland Homes. And overall, I think they have a really great quality. We'll talk some more about this later in the video, but I think whether you're buying on their low end or on their high end, I think both and anything in between, I think their product as a whole is bar none, and I think it's really top notch. In terms of builder size, like I said, they're building almost 3,000 homes a year across all of Texas, but specifically here in DFW. As of the time of recording this video, and we're looking at their website, they currently list 384 quick move-in homes across all of their communities. You know, I always talk about websites in these reviews just because I think websites, being as a consumer, like what is the consumer facing product, is important. And their website is one of my favorites. It's easy to navigate. You can kind of click through everything. They have great floor plans that are interactive, and I appreciate that. Again, as a consumer myself, making this user friendly is great. But currently, this is kind of where they're building. You can kind of see there's a ton, as with most builders, because there's a ton of growth happening in this area. Up here, Frisco, McKinney, Prosper area. You've also got a lot happening. They're kind of big down through Fort Worth, Midlothian, Waxahachie, and then several things. So they're going to be in Solterra, which is the new community coming into Mesquite. They've got a couple things in Forney. They're in Rockwall. There's several in Roy City, a couple in Wiley. So really kind of all over the map. If you're looking for a home, I would say Highland is probably, you could probably find a home that's being built by Highland in close proximity to anywhere you want to be. In terms of price point, they've got things starting in the mid threes all the way up to the million pluses. When I looked for recording this video, they currently had 63 homes that are on their quick move-in list that are under that 450 price point. They're kind of all spread out. There's a few out here in Roy City. There might be a couple in Forney, and then there's a couple, I think probably Fort Worth to the south. So 63 homes under that 450 price point. The majority of their homes, the majority of their inventory is going to price out in that 450 to probably 750 range, give or take. They have some stuff on the lower end. I mean, under 450 is still kind of expensive, to be honest, but that's kind of where we are as a housing market. But a lot of, again, their sweet spot is probably that 4 to 7 range, and you can find a lot of their stuff there. That all price point that comes out, I think there's 42 communities across DFW currently that they're building, and I know they're always looking to add more. Again, from a consumer standpoint, from a realtor standpoint, from a bringing clients in standpoint, a couple things that I love and appreciate about Highland. Number one is they are going to be the company that services your home warranty. So every builder gives a home warranty, and sometimes 1, 2, 10 typically is how it kind of structures out. A lot of builders outsource that to another company. They basically say, hey, here's XYZ warranty company. If you have a problem, call them, don't call us, right? There are a few builders that say, no, we're going to actually service our own warranties because we're the one that built your home. We know what happens. We know how it happens. We want to service our quality homes. Highland is one of those builders. So I appreciate that, again, because it's not if something's going to go wrong, it's when something's going to go wrong. And that's not a knock on Highland. That is every home ever. You will never, ever find a perfect home. And if you found a perfect home that nothing is wrong with, you didn't look hard enough, because your home is going to be built by a human, and a human is imperfect, and there's always going to be something wrong. The key is what's going to be done to help fix it. And Highland is one of those companies that services their home warranties. So usually it's the builder that built your community and the builder that built your home that's going to be the one that's managing the connections between the trades, getting those people in and out to help service that warranty, which I think is a huge deal. Other big thing that I appreciate about Highland, so over the last couple of years when we saw these crazy price increases and builders you saw this all in the news, right? Like, oh, people got their contracts canceled and they raised their price $100,000 and they thought they were going to move in. Highland was one of the builders that was not doing that. They decided, hey, we're going to do the right thing and we're going to honor contract price. And probably in some cases, they may have lost some money, to be honest, based on what happened in the supply chain. But I appreciate, again, as a consumer, as a realtor, as somebody who brings people in, the integrity goes a long way to say, hey, we're going to honor this. We're going to stand behind this. We're going to stand behind our product, and we're not going to raise prices. So that was a huge thing that they did that other builders didn't do. We're not going to name names right here. We'll save that for another video. So that's another one. Also, I think in terms of design options, I think their standard features feel really great. So even if you're buying on the, let's say, 350, 400 range, it's still going to feel like a good quality home. They're still hyper energy efficient. They're still going to put their radiant barriers in. So I think from a design standpoint, I think they do a really great job of packaging all of their things really well. If you're building from the ground up, you do get to go spend time in the design center, which is always fun. But if you're buying one of their quick move-ins, you're probably not going to get to make a whole lot of changes. It just depends on where they are in that build process. If they're early on, maybe you can make some flooring and tile and paint changes, maybe. If they're later on, they're probably not going to be able to. But what I would say is all of the Highland homes that I see that I've walked in as inventory, there's not a design that I'm like, oh, why'd you pick that? I think their design teams do a really great job finishing out their homes. That also goes into the fact of their floor plans, I think, are well thought out. Of course, there's only so many different ways you can orient bedrooms, bathrooms, living rooms, but all of their floor plans feel like they flow really well in and out of the home. I haven't walked into one of those homes and I'm like, oh, this feels clunky or tight or doesn't make sense of the space. I think they've designed those to work really well for how they're building. They do have their own lending team, as most large builders do. I've had clients close with them, haven't had any issues with their Highland Home Lending and the way that they operate. So just be mindful of that. Most builders have that. Some are better than others. Highlands is one of the better ones. I appreciate from them. Also, in terms of incentives, currently they're doing a $20,000 incentive toward closing costs, price reduction, interest rate buy down. They've been running that incentive for a while. I'm not sure how long that will carry over and what will come next, but I do know their incentives are usually always really good when it comes to either quick move-ins or to-be builts where you're designing. Highland's been known to give really great incentives to help take care of their customers. And if they need to do additional, I'm not saying that they always will. I'm just saying that they're one of the few builders that I know we can ask. I've had sales counselors tell me, hey, don't say no for me, right? To where they say, hey, if we can, we want to make a deal, we want to make something happen. They're willing to work and to do that within reason, and it's case by case. But right now they're doing a $20,000 incentive toward closing costs, interest rate buy down, which is a huge thing because that saves you money on the front end, or it potentially saves you in your monthly payment, depending on how you choose to allocate those funds. One disclaimer I always like to give, is I am in no way affiliated with Highland Homes. I don't work for them. They're not paying me to do this video. The only time I get paid from them is when I sell one of their houses, and I love selling their houses. So, but beyond that, not affiliated with them, just a realtor trying to give honest information as people are trying to build and buy and understand who they should look at in this market. Also, I would, disclaimer, so many experiences. I mean, you can look online. You'll always find positive and negative experiences for every single builder. I don't care who they are. You'll find people that are super happy, and you'll find people that are super pissed off. And inevitably, it never fails. And a lot of that's got to do with, your sales counselor, your build team, your community, the trades that come in. Because what a lot of people don't realize is when we talk about the builder's not actually building your home. They're more of like the construction manager, and they've got paint crews and stone crews and texture crews and plumbing crews and HVAC, and they've got all these different trades moving in and out, and sometimes they have issues with those trades. It's just kind of the way it goes. So the key is, making sure you have a good builder that can manage those things, manage what's going on. And again, not perfect by any means. Nobody is. But I think Highland does a really great job of getting quality trades in, managing those things, managing expectations, and communicating when things go wrong. Because sometimes builders are just like, oh, we're just gonna hide and hope that you don't know and leave people in the dark. We don't want that. So I think that's a positive is hey, how do they handle adversity? How do they handle those things? And I think they do a really good job of that. Like always, you will have positives and negatives on both sides. Take them with a grain of salt. Shot of tequila, smile. Here's what I would tell you. If you're building or you're thinking about buying new construction and there's a Highland community that makes sense, I would look at it. I would go in, I would look at their models, I would ask questions. Of course, I wouldn't go by myself. I would take a realtor because, again, as much as I love all of our builders, they don't work for you. You need somebody that's going to advocate for your best interest. You need a realtor that's going to stand in the middle and say, hey, how can I get my client everything that they need and make sure everything happens so that they can get in their home of their dreams. That's what I'm here for. Help families all over the place in DFW, buy, sell, build new construction. I'm here for you. My contact information is going to be right here on this video. That's my cell phone number. Feel free to text me, call me, send me an email if you like email. I guess. No, I'm kidding. Email's fine. If you want to book some time in my calendar, you can look in the description down below. There's a link, and we can set up some time to jump on a video call, chat, answer any questions you may have. If you're like, hey, I just want to browse homes, there's a link to do that as well. Promise I'm not Zillow. Will not sell your information. Not going to give it away. And I'm not going to bombard you. Just want you to have a resource to say, hey, I want you to be able to browse homes. If you've bought a Highland home, I'd love to have some dialogue down in the comments. Tell me what you liked about it. Maybe you had a great experience. Maybe you had a terrible experience. I don't know. I just want to have a conversation. If you're looking, you're like, hey, Zach, what about this builder? What about that builder? We get those comments. As those come in, I try to add them to our list so that we have hopefully a fully updated catalog as you're trying to make an informed decision here in DFW. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today as we talked Highland. Again, they are A+ in my book. Would definitely recommend buying from them. If you're looking, and if I can be of any assistance, please reach out. Thank you so much. We'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.